time, weather.
Now for the Forge Podcast. Question for you. What's the power of your testimony if it's never shared? This is the Forge Podcast. Brandon Pierce, welcome to the Forge Podcast.
Thank you.
How you doing, buddy?
Well, great, man. It's good to see you.
Great to see you. It's always been great to see you. I just in marking the slate before we got going here, I'm like, first time I met you, I'm like, I've gravitated towards you. We got to pray with each other up at the men's retreat. Got to work on a couple projects that you oversaw with the church. I just like you. I like
Right.
you as a person. So
Thank you.
To be able to have you on
means
the
a lot.
podcast is a treat for me. So welcome.
Thanks, man. Those are really kind things that you say.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel the same way. You know, when I first met you, I'm like, this guy's got something. You know, he's got something I want. And so I just, anytime I see you, love to come up and say hi to you. It is a pull. And so, yeah.
I laugh every now and then it'll come across my mind. You'll know what I'm talking about. It was the email I sent you for the first construction project.
Okay.
You had made the announcement up at the men's retreat several years ago. Like, hey, we're going to, I don't know if it was the Ryberg house or the SBC is doing an outreach program to build something for somebody. I don't know if it was Ryberg or the.
It was one of those.
them.
I think it could have been Ryberg.
And it had hit me. Like, I didn't want to go serve here or there, but I'm like, oh my gosh, there's this. I love construction. And my email to you was, because I didn't know what tools anybody had. So I'm like, and I had experience doing drywall and tile and flooring and cabinets and this and
I remember you had a truck full of tools.
I listed everything to you.
It was awesome.
I was just so happy. I'm like, when things fit, they fit. And I was excited. I'm like, this is a place that I would love to serve.
Yeah, it could have been Selena's house. That one was a pretty powerful one.
Yeah.
For me, and I remember getting emotional up on the stage at the retreat. So,
Yeah.
And I think that's where we first hooked up, and then the Ryberg house was second. So yeah, thank you so much for your participation. Both of those projects turned out very well, and the recipients couldn't be happier.
So yeah, explain to everybody, kind of. I've heard it, but explain how you kind of spearheaded that little mission here within SBC, where of taking dudes, regular guys on a Saturday, Sunday, and going out into the community and helping people.
Yeah, sure. So in 2019, there was a mission trip to Nicaragua that Brad Boxberger and a couple other guys put together for a Young Life camp. We were going there to build a deck, and I had just started in the Forge that January.
Okay.
So I think they started talking about it in maybe April, May, somewhere in there. And I knew I was supposed to go on that trip. I don't know why. I'd never done anything like it before, but I knew I was supposed to go on that trip. And lo and behold, I got surprised. Some guys had sponsored me to go. I didn't even ask. You know, I was working towards it. But anyways, I went on that trip with some really good people that I've become great friends with today, Bill Cavness being one of them. Yeah. And I witnessed some amazing things there. There was conflict, and I saw how the resolution came about and the friendships that were made, the bonding experience that took place, not only amongst our men that went, but the Nicaraguans as well. It was fascinating to me. It was very moving. I enjoyed the work. I like to work with my hands when I can. And it was life-changing for me. It changed my life. And I thought, you know what, I like using tools.
How did it change your life? Is there something that you can identify?
A bunch of Christian men working side by side with tools in their hands for a good cause. Something happens. I can't describe it exactly.
That's it. No, you don't say no more. That's incredible.
But something happens.
Yeah.
And so I left with that feeling, and I'm like, I'm definitely in on these going forward.
Yeah.
Well, COVID hit, and everything stopped.
Yeah.
The church stopped. The Forge stopped. I was fortunate that my small group guys, we stayed together, and we Zoomed every week or whatever we needed to do. But word got around about that trip, and another gentleman that goes to church here who's involved in neighborhood ministries had reached out and said, hey, I've got a project I want to do down here. It's a workshop for the kids. It's a wood shop. And I want to build some things. Do you think you could get some guys? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll give it a shot. It didn't seem like we were going to be traveling anywhere. So I'm like, well, I'll give it a shot, see how it works out. It worked out well. I mean, I had 5 or 7 guys that showed up. close buds. We had to wear masks, but we did it. And the guys would, and it was multiple weekends. Not that we had multiple weekends planned out, but nevertheless, it ended up being a pretty good success. I had about 10 guys that are like, hey man, we want to come and join you, and if you get something else, would you let us know? So that's where it started. And I thought, this is pretty good. Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so just if I look, like I said, I'm not used to being in front of the camera.
Okay.
I normally am back running camera, monitoring sound, making sure we're focused.
So just
Now
pretend like it's not
I'm the
happening.
actor. So if I'm looking there, I'm just looking for focus to make sure everything's okay. So ignore my looking.
Got it.
And
Okay.
just find my ear and look at that. But I'm just monitoring the process.
Okay.
Here, I'm looking at audio, just continuing to make sure that we're not peaking, and so
Perfect. Okay, I'll ignore all that.
yeah.
All right, let me pick it back up. That went pretty well, and the guy Mark Fellman, who brought me into that deal, had some other contacts down in that area. It's a pretty rundown area.
Where was this?
South Phoenix.
Okay.
It's Mark had very good relationships with a lot of people at neighborhood ministries. Well, there was one home, Selena's house, that was a tragic story, and I felt compelled to go down there and do some work.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't see that we were going to be traveling any overseas trips to do any like Young Life camps or anything like that. But I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, I don't have to go halfway around the world
Right.
to help somebody.
Right.
Let's help somebody here. And again, it was a big success. We really renovated a dilapidated garage into a beautiful casita / nursery for this young woman who was going to be giving birth. I think it was a 5-weekend deal. Probably had 20 guys every weekend. Not all the same guys. There were a core group of guys,
Yeah.
but every weekend more guys showed up. And what we did together for this family, just again, I'm like, we can do this and do this and do this. And I believe in it. I strongly believe in it. The church and the community have done so much for me. It's my obligation and my privilege to be able to give back. And when I can recreate that experience for other men for a good cause, I'm all over it every day.
Awesome. What do you have anything coming up?
At the moment, no. I'm talking to a few different guys, looking for something big. House of Refuge will probably have something come up. That's kind of our ongoing right now. We're partnered with them. We've done a lot of great things. We built a playground.
Mm-hmm.
We raised money for that. We renovated a couple of apartments there.
Yep.
We've done a couple of just weekday or weekend cleanup here and there, and
Yeah.
what we can do with 20 guys would take them 2 months to do.
Right.
With their labor. So, yeah, I'm always looking. It's not easy to find big projects that you can put that many guys
What's a
on.
big project?
A big project is something you can put 20 guys on, and it'd be multiple weekends. So something that's really impactful.
Like the Ryberg House was a big project.
That was a pretty big project, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, and that was a challenging one because they were living in there, and
Right.
it was special needs, and their wishes. We couldn't meet all of them, but we were able to do some other things. It turned out great. They're so happy, and working with those special needs kids in their home with
Yeah.
them, painting, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just awesome. Great experience.
Yep. It was fun. I went down there, I think, 3 or 4 times, but I went back to help out, I think, with the sink, reinstall the
Yes, you did.
disposal or something. Nobody was there. I just went down during the week. And
I heard, yeah.
Just, they remember you, and they're just so happy to see you. And I mean,
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was great. I loved it. And you're right. There's something about serving alongside other men.
It's
I've done it as
powerful.
a child in Jamaica on missions trips. I've done it as a 20-year-old. Built a church in Mexico in college with my buddies during spring break. Chose to go down there for a missions trip. It unites you. It brings you together.
Yeah.
Something, how you said, I can't say it better. Something happens. It's like the promo for a movie.
God shows up.
Get 20 guys together and doing something. Tools in the hand. Something happens. Something does happen. God shows up. You're right, and it's incredible. It bonds you together.
Yeah.
My prayer for our guys at the Forge every Tuesday is, God, continue to knit us together, to weave us together, and that's what it does. It instantly weaves you together in a common bond of service towards others.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Well
beautiful.
said. Well said.
Well, I had to try to beat you, but I did it. Yours was better. Just kidding.
My experience is my experience, man.
So, Forge, what brought you to the Forge? You said 2019?
So at the end of 2017, I kind of, the way I was living life was no longer working for me or anyone else. I needed a big reset. No need to go into all those details, but needless to say, I was really at my end. Started coming to SBC again, got connected. There was a couple of guys that were fathers of kids at my son's school. And one day, a guy, Larry Capoletti, walked up to me and invited me to the Forge. And I think it was January of 2019.
Okay.
A group of guys took me under their wings and really poured into me, man. They really did. I wouldn't be where I am today without them. There's no question about it. I'm still very close friends with a large portion of those guys. Then they supported my trip to Nicaragua. My life got great. It really did. My life completely turned around, and I had nothing to do with it, man. It was all God, and it was a lot of times God working through other men, and I knew that. So I was glued to the Forge. I was 100%. Whatever I'm needed for, whatever I can do, I'm here. And then as my life got better, I didn't need it. But I realized now it's my time and turn to do this for other men. I got so much out of my small group. We didn't want to break up, but we were asked to split up and start leading. And it was the right thing to do. I continue to go to the Forge and participate to give back, And I know if, I have troubles, I'm going there because I'm going to sit with other men who love me, who are, for who I am. They're going to speak good Christian talk and wisdom into me, and it's never been, I've never gotten anything negative out of it, ever. And even when I don't want to go, I show up and I leave. It's when I don't want to go that I leave there calling my wife. I am so glad I went. Yeah. You're not going to believe what happened. Yeah. And it's been consistent with that. Again, some of my closest friends today are members and leaders in the Forge. So I owe it. I owe it back.
So are you leading a table? Do you lead a table now?
I don't. So Rob Byer, myself, and Mark Popejoy kind of lead the high school building over here. So I'm not sure how we pick men. It used to be like Christ-like fathers and husbands was our MO, our specialty. But now we're kind of all doing the same thing. But these men still like to break off over here. My focus today is bringing up leaders in the Forge, and sitting with new guys at a table, working with them for a few weeks. Yeah. Bringing them a leader or bringing one of them up to be a leader, and then I just do it again. Just start over, and we just keep doing that.
What is, that's interesting. What's your process in doing that, in coming in a table of young guys for 3-4 weeks? What are you looking for in guys? What are you pouring into them to kind of raise them up, either raise a leader up from within or bring in a leader? What are you looking, what's your process?
Well, it's a safe space, and I think that there has to be, one, and first and foremost, I am an open book, and I lay it all out, right out of the gate. This is who I am, this is what I've done, and this is, who I am today, and this is what the Forge has done for me, and I hope and want it and will work so that it does that for you.
Right.
In order to do that, we got to lay out some guidelines, and I just, by being vulnerable and open right out of the gate, it sets the mood for the table, and I try really hard to make sure everybody has a fair amount of time, equal time. We get to the point. I don't typically allow, unless it's really urgent, for someone to breathe all the air, and I ask a lot of provocative questions to get people to open up, because if you're not going to come and do what did wonders for me, you might not get out of it what I got out of it.
Right.
And I'm just trying to recreate that experience. It doesn't work with everybody at my table, and I tell them right out of the gate, hey man, if you're not comfortable here, that's okay.
Right.
If you'd rather be at another table, I'll help you find another table.
Right.
I won't hurt my feelings. These may be old guys, you may be young, you may have some problem with whatever. You may fit in with another table better. So Rob and I work really hard to place men at the right tables where they're going to benefit the most. It's just, again, this place has been so amazing for me. I'll do whatever it takes to help recreate that experience for any man that walks in that door.
So even in your short tenure of 6 years or so, 5 years, 6 years,
7.
seven.
It's coming up on 7 years, yeah.
I do video, not math.
That's right. That's right. I couldn't believe it either. 7 years.
The growth you've seen
Yeah.
is incredible.
Yeah. Seen a lot of men come and go. Seen a lot of men come broke, in a bad place, and they might not keep coming, but they came and they got something that they needed, and really helped them get through whatever they were going through. The power of prayer is amazing, and you've taught me that many times. These guys come in and they're with other men who've probably experienced something similar, and to be able to share what they're going through and have the support. It can be a medication, it could be like a treatment plan, that they don't need to keep coming back. But the ones I think that really get the most out of it, they keep coming and they become leaders. I mean, the number of leaders we have today versus what we had 5 years ago is astronomical. It's unbelievable. I think we have over 70-something leaders.
Oh, wow.
So we continue to grow. It's amazing. I can't get away from it. I just can't.
So the question I ask a lot, I'm curious about, I want to find, I don't know if there is one answer, but direction. How do you, we're 300, that's still impressive. That's an impressive number.
Yeah, I can't
The growth
believe it,
is
yeah.
impressive. But compared to the body size of our church, I know there's more guys out there that could use another guy to talk to, another guy to be vulnerable with,
Yeah.
to stop carrying the weight of their world by themselves. We talk about a lot about isolation. The devil loves us in isolation.
Yep.
We're the audience of one to all of his lies, and we buy him and store them and believe them, and we just stay isolated. And breaking free of that is finding that community that you can be open with. As hard as that is the first time, once you do it, you're like, oh my gosh, that feels so good. That is freeing. Wow, for the first time in years, I'm free. What's your approach to reaching more guys just at our church? I know there's more people outside the church that need to be reached, but just in the doors across the way from where we meet in the venue, what's your any thoughts?
So I invite a lot. I do like to wear my Ford shirt some Sundays, to market us, if you will.
Yeah.
I meet with a lot of men one-on-one, especially, I don't know why it is, but people feel like safe telling me things. I just try to get to know people, I think the biggest problem we have as men is we're not very self-aware. And if someone were to ask you, if you're perplexed and you have this weird feeling going on and they were to ask you, how are you feeling? You'd probably, stick your head in the ground like an ostrich, because we're just not good at that. So by being okay expressing my feelings, not necessarily asking a lot of questions, but telling about myself, oh man, I really struggle with some things, and I just try to befriend them, and be genuine, authentic, and then I mention the Forge, and then I share my testimony with them.
Right.
And men come, but men look at me sometimes like I'm an alien. It's like, how do you know that about yourself? It took a lot of work, but becoming self-aware and helping others become aware of, some things that they might be struggling with,
Yeah.
or have no clue about. That builds a bond right out of the gate, usually, and there's some guys that have come and I've seen them get a lot of help, and learn how to communicate their feelings with other men first, where it's safe.
Yeah.
And then they tell me down the road, yeah, my wife and I are having better conversations. Thanks for opening up to me and showing me what it means to be vulnerable and still be a man. Because I am a man. And I, up until 8 years ago, I didn't know any of those things either. If somebody asked me how I feel, I need to look at a sheet of paper that had like 70 feelings on it. Well, let me figure that out. We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But life is just, it's really what we're called to do. And life is so much more enriching when we're real. And that's what we do here, right? We get
Yep.
God, we get real, and we get out there.
Yep. That sounds exactly like what you're doing. I love that.
That's what I was told to do. I follow instructions very well. So
I thought just escaped me. Gosh dang it. Not the pursuit. It was oh, you mentioned it, and the way I put it is the Forge is a great place to practice vulnerability and honesty
absolutely.
around a table of guys that are not going to condemn you or judge you.
Absolutely.
Before you go to your wife with the big confession, or the people that need to hear the confession or the issue, it's a great place to practice.
Yeah, the safest space that I had for a good number of years was my small group. Before we broke off to become leaders, I did not want to let go of that small group. I just didn't. I felt completely safe. They knew everything about me. Anytime something bad happened, I mean, like really bad, I'd be like, our small group, the text, would go out to our small group, and I had never really experienced that before. I never had a friendship or a brotherhood like that before. So I ate it up. I embraced everything the Forge had to offer, and I'm a product of it.
Yeah.
So back to the small group setting, I've been told that I've refreshingly harsh at times. And it's because it's not a social club. You can do that outside.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come to the Forge, it's to learn what it means to be a man and a leader in your house and a leader in the community. And that's serious business.
Yep.
I take that very seriously. And so when I'm sitting at a table and there's a lot of goofing off going on, I'm going to stop it and redirect the conversation. I don't want to lose anybody. I want everybody to get the most out of it that they can.
Right.
So,
Love that. What do you see Forge growing into? Where do you want to see it grow? What's your vision for it in the next year?
That's really up to the vision team.
Not your thing. Yeah.
I participate certainly, but right now I want to recreate for other men what I've gotten out of the Forge. That's my sole purpose. And if there's more men coming, it's to help leaders become better leaders, so that they can recreate that.
Let me jump on that. That's a great point. Speak to other leaders. How would you educate other leaders to replicate that?
Be yourself. You're there for other men to help them get somewhere better in their lives, to be better Christian men, to be better husbands, and to be better fathers, and to be better friends. As long as that's the main focus, then they're going to be a good leader, and it's back to, and you got to do the basics, this is the best way to run your small group, mm-hmm. and these are really good questions to ask, and don't try to correct people, don't make suggestions, don't let others on the table do that. Let people share what they have to share, and if they want your feedback, they'll ask for it. Right. I didn't need anybody to tell me what to do when I was a broken man.
Yeah.
I just needed to share with somebody because I thought I was crazy. Mm-hmm. I thought I'm the only one going through this. That wasn't the case. There were a lot of men that I met that were going through, have been through, or on the verge of going through what I was in the middle of.
Right.
And they heard me and they're like, "Man, I hear what you're saying, and I understand exactly what you're going through. I'm here for you. Tell me more. Is there anything I can do for you?" They made themselves available to me, yeah, on a level that, and in a group that I had never experienced before, and I would venture to say most men don't.
Yeah. Awesome. That's it, buddy. Short, quick.
Perfect.
Great things to say.
Anything I can do to help, man.
No, this was it. I mean, another couple projects. Get the guys out there.
Working on it, and if anybody has a good project for a good cause,
What-
we look at anything and everything.
What is what can people be looking for? What should they be listening for? Or how do you go about finding a project? If people out there are hearing, they're like, oh, you know what I've got. What should they?
Okay, so
be looking for?
I the most recent projects I did were the playground at House of Refuge, and we really needed professionals for that.
Right.
And I just finished just a couple weeks ago an addition at the Hope Women's Center, and we needed professionals for that. So even those are great causes and great projects. The bulk of it's raising money and then hiring professionals.
Right.
The playground, we were able to get some men out, to spread
Sure.
the wood chips and dig some holes and do a basketball goal
Right.
and things like that. A good project is where I can put 20 men doing whatever. You guys do this, you guys do that. Like the renovations we did on those 2 apartments.
Mm-hmm.
We really didn't need professionals for that. We have qualified guys that can,
Right.
some guys can paint, some guys can drywall, some guys can set cabinets, and so forth. So that's what we're looking for, is projects that I can put 10 or 20 guys on over a couple weekends, 2, 3 weekends, 4 weekends, and not necessarily have to be perfect,
Right.
no plumbing for the most part, no electrical. I mean, minor stuff, right?
Yeah.
But a project that we can keep laymen, people that don't really have too many skills, busy,
Right.
so that they can experience that camaraderie and that, that feeling, that brotherhood with tools or paintbrushes or whatever,
Yeah.
shovels, doesn't matter, it's just an amazing experience. So, but I am looking for something for late spring. I'm just putting the feelers out now.
And if somebody has something, how do they email the church? What's the best way?
Yeah, they can reach out to me directly, or they can reach out to Jason Belcher, The Forge. Yeah,
Okay.
word of mouth, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Bring it to us. We'll take a look.
Well, our official sign off is see you Tuesday. So, Brandon, thank you so much for your time. Just always a pleasure. I always enjoyed it. I said at the beginning, say it at the end. I just enjoy being around you, hearing you. You've got wisdom, and I think a lot of guys can glean something. I know I am. So,
You're a kind man. Thank you
All right.
very much.
see you Tuesday.
See you then.
See you then? No, you got to say see you Tuesday.
Fine. See you Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to the Forge Podcast.